So the Great Hip Hop Hoax, which is a documentary about Syllable and Brains, who were this rap duo who apparently were going to be absolutely huge. And the reason I want to bring you in here is, had you heard of Syllable and Brains?
Do you know how much hip hop gets played on Radio 2 at the moment?
But you were at Radio 1 before, and you're somebody who's down with the kids, and you understand all that sort of stuff. So do you know anything about them?
I left Radio 1 13 years ago. So I have to say...
So is the answer to this question no, Simon? I mean,
yes,
it's really very simple.
It's an elaborate way of saying this is not in my comfort zone.
Okay, so the story of the documentary
I'm more into skiffle myself, performed by a band from, I don't know, central southern England.
Yeah, that's right. The central southern England delta. Okay, so the story of the Great Hip Hop Hoax is basically these two guys from Scotland who had started making rap records and were not taken seriously by the music industry. They were described as the rapping proclaimers, and they went to go and do some sort of reality TV show.
I quite like that.
Yeah, no, they didn't like it at all. They thought it was unbelievably stupid, which in fact it is. Why should
quite like it?
Right, okay, well in that case that's the point at which you probably part company with the documentary. So what they did was they decided to just reinvent themselves as California rappers. So they just put on stupid West Coast accents, went back down to London and said, hey, look, we're from California, give us some gigs. And the next thing you knew, everyone was falling for their act. They were getting big gigs, they were playing with big rap acts, they were getting signed to a management company, they were getting signed to record companies. I mean, all this incidentally in an area in which being for real is the thing that you're meant to be. And what the documentary does is it goes back and talks to them now. I mean, they're now estranged, and about, firstly, how on earth they did it, secondly, why they did it. And there is an interesting sort of question of national identity, because obviously, proudly Scottish and yet having to pretend to be American. And also there's an awful lot in it about the sort of addictive power of lying and what it means when you tell a lie so often that you start to believe that lie, because obviously they had to live in character. Astonishingly, people it is, when you see the documentary, and as I said, I confess I hadn't heard of Syllable and Brains, but then that's because I'm not down with the kids. I just kind of assumed that you were. You see these people doing these West Coast accents, and you think, how could anybody take that seriously? But astonishingly they did. The underlying message of all this seems to be that, surprisingly enough, the music industry is more vacuous than perhaps one would have expected.
Surely not.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it is genuinely quite surprising. You think, wow, they managed to get with. And the other thing is, I mean, the more they play up the characters, the more they play these kind of Beastie Boys style characters. The more
Beastie Boy, that would be horrible.
Beastie Boy, that's right, the Beastie Boys, and the more annoying they become, and and they just behave like really, really annoying baseball cap on backwards kids. And the more they do that, the more the record companies and the more the management and the more the venues love them and think that they must be for real, because they're behaving in exactly the way that dopey skateboarding Californians are supposed to behave. I mean, it's a strange story.